I'm Zach. We're going to do something nice and easy today. But in the words of Tina Turner, we never do anything nice and easy. We're going to be looking at the 22 teen drama characters who were super unlikable until they had great character development from Buzzfeed. Hopefully this should be fast. This should be fun. It'll be weird for me because I think that generally I like characters that most people hate. I don't know why. I just I gravitate to those kinds of people. I think I like unlikable characters a lot. I champion them. I think they're the best. I like characters who are difficult to like, but do I have any personally? Sometimes I don't know. When I hate a character, I tend to keep hating that character. The other way might be more frequent. There are probably more characters that I started off loving, or at least appreciating and liking a great deal, that near the end started to annoy or aggravate me, that I got to the point of hatred with them. But when it's the other way, it's not too often. But Dean came to mind from Gilmore Girls, and to say that I loved him by the end is a very strong word. I thought he was fascinating by the end, though. Like, the more I thought about Dean's character, the more conflicted, the more fascinating, the more relevant I found him. And Jared Padalecki was incredible as Dean. Like, for the record, I'm still picking Jess every single day over Dean, but that's a bit too nice and easy. Let's get a little rough. I would pick Tristan DeGray over any guy on Gilmore Girls, team Tristan DeGray for sure, which is strange because I don't really care about Logan very much, and he is clearly almost the same exact character. But Dean comes to mind. It's difficult for me to really think about that because I like I said, I like the more confrontational characters to begin with. I think they're really cool, really good. They add a lot to the dramatic elements, especially the melodramatic elements. So normally I like characters that most people don't like. I like Paris Geller. I like Jenna Marshall. I like characters people generally hate, and hate for like good reasons, and all the reasons people hate them are also all the reasons why I love them so much. Let's see what we got here. Justin Foley from 13 Reasons Why, starting off with a banger, a very anticlimactic banger, but I don't know that show. I never watched it. Santana Lopez. Who started off hating Santana Lopez? She's hot and bitchy and funny and gay. Who doesn't love Santana Lopez from the get-go? I thought she was just there as a bully originally, but the more they gave her a storyline, the better she got. She was the only reason I got so far in Glee, to be honest. We just taking just randos, just random opinions on the internet and putting an article out, like making an article out of that? Okay, fine. I mean, if Caterino 21 says it, it's gotta mean something to somebody. Paris Geller from Gilmore Girls, so I was right. She gave Gilmore Girls depth. At first, I thought she was just an annoying antagonist to throw into the mix. You're a fucking moron. But Paris was honest, complex, and bold. Maybe you're a genius. You're changing my mind. I started off hating you, A.E. Mentzer. I started off hating you, but now I love you. She carried that show, in my opinion. Yes, you are a genius. Good job. Great job. Yeah, she calls herself the amazing, insignificant, invisible girl. I'm so happy that we got that Netflix revival finale series of A Year in the Life, because that's when we finally see Paris truly vulnerable in that bathroom at Chilton. I think Paris Geller is one of the greatest characters in all of teen drama, a top 5 character. She meant everything to me while I was watching Gilmore Girls. I will forever be in love with Paris Geller. Go watch my Gilmore Girls analysis videos. It's basically a series of me giving Liza Weil and Paris Geller flowers over and over. I basically fucking drown the character with flowers, with praise. She's so good. Blair Waldorf. People hated Blair Waldorf? Blair Waldorf is actually the greatest character in all of teen drama. queen, Leighton Meester. I disliked her so much at first, but once you find out more about her family and upbringing and how Chuck treats her, you can kind of understand why she acts the way she does. At the start, I hated Blair and loved Serena, but by the end of it, I'd done a complete 180. You know, you can love both Blair and Serena. It's totally fucking possible to do. I do it. Blair, from the beginning, was adorable and vicious, and I love that dichotomy. I love that juxtaposition. I love that she is the queen. Blair Waldorf is the greatest teen drama character ever. I can't imagine hating her for even a millisecond. Seems sacrilegious. It seems like not only a betrayal of self, but a betrayal of the teen drama genre. You have to love Blair Waldorf, or else you don't love this mode of storytelling, or else you don't love these characters. Blair Waldorf, the greatest teen drama character of all time. I can't believe people would ever hate her. See, I'm finding things to complain about, even though this is technically a list of characters people love. Blair Waldorf, every character in Gossip Girl is deeply conflicted and deeply, I don't know, probably problematic's a decent word to use. Blair Waldorf is royalty. So far as I'm concerned, she has a royal place in my heart. She is... she's the queen of it. She kind of represents everything that I find most romantic, enduring, and appealing and alluring about teen drama as a whole, which I'm completely obsessed with. So, by proxy, by poetic proxy, I am completely obsessed with Blair Waldorf. She keeps my love for this shit alive. Leighton Meester, you goddess. Cheryl Blossom from Riverdale. I have watched some Riverdale. I haven't really shared a lot of my thoughts about it. I've never made a Riverdale analysis video for the channel. Cheryl Blossom, though, I remember immediately liking. She's the kind of character I like immediately, so I don't agree with ever... like, we just hate spoiled, bratty, rich girl. That's such a cool trope. Are we just hating tropes because they're tropes now? I thought part of the fun of teen dramas were these, immediately familiar tropes, but eventually every good one tends to deconstruct the trope, and the deconstruction of that trope is where the uniqueness of each individual character exists. Cheryl Blossom seemed great to me. Riverdale, I'll save my thoughts for it for a future analysis video. I need to rewatch it, but I vividly remember this character, and yeah, I liked her immediately. There was nothing, I had no issues attaching myself to Cheryl. Caroline Forbes from the Vampire Diaries. People didn't like her at first. I mean, I don't think I ever hated her. I don't think I ever loved her. I think I enjoyed her as a character. She never compelled me to feel big emotions like Bonnie did, or like Damon did, or even like Catherine did. She never compelled me to feel big things. I think my favorite character from that entire show is Bonnie Bennett, but I think that Klaus is the most interesting one to analyze. And even when Caroline was romantically paired with Klaus, I didn't have a whole lot to say about her. I mean, I feel like I said enough. I feel like I did talk about her in my analysis videos, but she strikes me as a strange one to be here, because like nothing that she did was directly like offensive. Nothing that she did was directly disagreeable. I thought she was a fine character. I didn't really feel strongly about her either way, though. Mariana Adams Foster from The Fosters and Good Trouble. Never watched it. She looks likable. I don't know. Never watched it, though. Nathan Scott from One Tree Hill. It's a normie ass list, dude. I like Nathan Scott. I think that Dan Scott would be a better character here. Like, over time, I appreciated Dan Scott's villainy more and more and more. Like his cartoon character, his connections to the like his seemingly mythic connections to the Greek tragedy. Dan also had a redemption arc, so I think that Dan Scott would be a better character from One Tree Hill to have here. I mean, I loved him from the beginning, dude. He was so evil, man. He was so entertaining. A beautiful villain. I like villains. I I understand that certain characters are there to fulfill a certain role and meet a certain expectation, and Dan was expected to meet the most villainous and cruel expectations possible, and he exceeded those expectations. Dan Scott was excellent. Nathan Scott is he's great. He's a great character. The first 4 seasons of One Tree Hill, I mean, they're excellent. I know why he made it here, but and Nathan Scott had some interesting things. I'm not going to argue with Nathan Scott being here. I'm not going to argue with that. That's fine with me. I just think that that Dan belongs here more, because I think most One Tree Hill fans did grow to love Dan, and I'm sure they hated him at first because they're unimaginative. If you're awesome, then you loved Dan from episode 1. You were like, oh my God, what a dick. What a literal satanic monster. I love Dan Scott. Watch my videos. Katie Fitch from Skins. People hated her? Why? The first time I watched the show, I hated her, but on rewatches, I've really grown to love her. She really grew to be a main part of the friendship group, and it's like she said, sometimes your friends need someone to be honest to them. She's here for no reason. Then she's Katie fucking Fitch. She's not my favorite Fitch twin. You know, I'm a big fan of Emily, but Katie Fitch is fine. She's fine. No fucking clue why someone would include her on a list like this. Spinner Mason from Degrassi. Sure, why not? Who cares? Brooke Davis from One Tree Hill. I mean, I immediately liked her when she like showed up naked and sexy in the back of Lucas's car. So like she won my heart, but it did take about 4 seasons for me to really realize how like complex she was, how sophisticated she was. It took the longest for her to develop in my mind out of the main core characters, but I still loved her from day one. But that might be because I'm unbelievably attracted to Sophia Bush. But you know that helps the likability of a character from a viewer's perspective. But I'd agree insofar as it took the longest for me to really appreciate her complexities. They developed slower than the others, and yeah. But I love Brooke Davis. I think she's remarkable. I love her very much. Quinn Fabray from Glee was my favorite character on that show. I thought she was excellent. She's like the only one that I thought was interesting enough to devote most of my analysis to. Watch my videos. Quinn Fabray, there's nothing hateable about her. I thought she's a beautiful character. One of the only truly beautiful characters on Glee was Quinn. Quinn is MVP of Glee. I love her. Never hated her even for a second. Lydia, this is just like she's basically just Cheryl Blossom from Riverdale. Whoever made this list, do people hate that spoiled kind of popular rich girl archetype? Because like same with Brooke Davis and a couple of the other ones that we've covered, Blair Waldorf, Paris Geller, these spoiled rich girls. Do you guys hate spoiled rich girls? I think I love that archetype. I think we do awesome stuff in there, not simply with like relationship dynamics, but with class dynamics. Like we end up talking about the most through them. Lydia Martin was great. She was fine, you know, totally inoffensive, totally nice to look at, totally fun. My favorite character on Teen Wolf was well, I loved Bianca Lawson's character as the counselor, but among the kids, it was Allison Argent. She was easily the best character, but come on, guys. Zoe Rivas from Degrassi The Next Generation and Degrassi The Next Class. I have no feelings about her at all. Sadie Saxton from Awkward. Man, I remember Awkward when it was on MTV, but I didn't like watch it diligently, and it's been so long since I've seen it. I've played around with the idea of analyzing it because I remember it being fun. And the main actress, I loved her on One Tree Hill. She was on a season of One Tree Hill, and she was great. So I would like to possibly cover that show in the future. Theo from Teen Wolf. If you say so, guys. Logan Eccles from Veronica Mars. I can understand why he's here, but once again, I loved him from the beginning. But at the beginning, you're right. He was he was the fucking worst, man. He was so mean, and he was like, he was so fucked up in every conceivable way. But I loved him to death. Of course, we all love to see that character growth from Logan. I love to see it too, but I still found him uniquely entertaining when he was more of an antagonist for the first half of season 1 until he, changed. Trying not to do too many spoilers here, but at the same time, this is a list that is kind of dedicated to character growth, so I kind of have to talk about certain things. But Logan Eccles, I understand why he's here, but once again, I like difficult characters, so I liked them from the very beginning, and Jason Dohring is marvelous in this role. So even when he was evil and spoiled and just generally awful, I still loved him. I did not watch Elite. Cordelia from Buffy, loved her to death. Fuck off. Rotten hell if you ever say anything bad about Cordy. She was so cool, man. She was great. Didn't watch The Flash. I haven't really watched too many of those CW shows. I started watching CW superhero shows. I'm sorry, I meant to specify. I know those were a big part of the CW's legacy. I started watching Smallville. I thought it was okay. Awkwardly, I found myself absolutely loving Allison Mack on it. It was, I should analyze it one day. Didn't watch the 100. Dawn, I can understand that. She's a literal actual plot device. She is literally a plot device given human form. And but over time, of course, I love Dawn. She's one of the most overhated characters of all time. I can see why she's at 22. She turned up and was such a spoiled, whiny pain in the butt, but by the end, she was an amazing, strong young woman, an integral part of the Scoobies. I mean, we need to use our analytical brain power here. Dawn was incredible from the very beginning. How bratty and whiny would you be if you were just a fucking plot device and you slowly realize that over time? That you're not a fucking person. But man, I was offended by Cordelia on here. I thought we all loved Cordelia. She's so fun. So fun. Shout out to Charisma Carpenter being a legend. I love Charisma Carpenter. Logan Eccles is probably the one on here I would agree with the most, or at least can see the rationale for him being here. He's such a good character. But most of these are the same archetype, because even Logan Eccles is, Cheryl Blossom is the spoiled rich girl. Same with Blair Waldorf and so many of the other ones. Logan Eccles is the poor little rich boy. Maybe Buzzfeed hates rich characters, but I think that they are kind of the most fascinating people to include in teen dramas. I generally seem to love them. One of my favorite teen movies of all time is Cruel Intentions. I do like these stories about the exorbitantly wealthy. I think that we're able to play dramatic games with the highest amount of philosophical, psychological, and sexual stakes, political stakes as well, within rich communities on teen dramas. So I guess I didn't think that's what the list was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be an indictment of the elite upper class, but that's honestly what it was. I don't find rich characters inherently unlikable. Maybe rich people in real life are intrinsically unlikable, but rich characters, they're so much fun. They're so much fun. I tend to love them most, honestly. That list had, quite a few of my favorite characters of all time. Fucking Blair Waldorf, Logan Eccles, Quinn Fabray, Paris Geller. Oh my God. Cordelia Chase. We're talking about some of the greatest characters, some of the greatest examples of their archetypes. We're talking about some of the greatest teen drama characters of all time. Couldn't imagine hating them for even a millisecond. But that was fun. That was quick. That was nice and easy. As nice and easy as I can be, I'm sure I said something disagreeable and controversial in there. Hopefully it was still entertaining. Do you have any were some characters that you hated at first that you ended up loving? Because I don't have that. I have characters that I felt, lukewarm about at best. Donna Martin on Beverly Hills 90210. Never for a second hated her, but throughout most of the first season, I didn't think much of her. In fact, this like cynical part of me that I think is ruling that BuzzFeed article that seems to be so against the idea of status and wealth. When I watched Donna Martin at first, I was like, huh, Tori Spelling's literally just here because of her daddy. I was that fucking insufferable in my own head when I was watching it. But then pretty quickly, Donna Martin became my ultimate best girl, like on that entire show. She became my ultimate 90210 crush. She became my favorite character, like bar none, no competition. And I really reevaluated like my preconceived notions of Tori Spelling, and she's turned into one of my favorite icons of not just teen drama, but of television. I call a lot of these characters teen drama legends. Tori Spelling is a television legend, a television superstar. She's television royalty. The Spellings are like the Barrymores. She's television royalty. Like the Barrymores are for film, the Spellings are for television. And yeah, but that's the best I can do, really. Characters that I felt kind of lukewarm about, and eventually grew to love, because I don't typically just hate a character for no good reason, just based off vibes or something. My especially with these teen dramas, that some of them are designed to be obliviously aggravating, and I'm really charitable with the teen drama characters. So normally it's the opposite. I love or really like a character and then end up finding myself very aggravated by them. Rachel Berry from Glee is an excellent example of that. This was a fun list. It was easy, it was simple, and I got to smile a bit, and I got to analyze just a little. This was really fun. Thank you so much for watching my video. My name is Zach. Yeah, a pleasure as always.